guarantee you, if you just cut off an eighth of an inch or a quarter of an inch, you'll be shocked how thick your hair will be at the ends.
I think
shocked.
People have been brainwashed into thinking that they have to just lop off a whole lot, so they get discouraged and they say, no, I'm trying to grow my hair out. I don't want to cut it short.
Yes.
Because they're pressured into it, or again, a hairdresser goes a little crazy with the scissors and then they get turned off, they don't do anything. Whereas if they just took it simply and systematically, like you said, and just cut off that little incy bit, which
eighth of an inch,
your hair grows
quarter
faster.
of an inch.
Yeah, it will grow faster than that. Then you're losing it, so to speak, by trimming it, and then it'll come out healthier. And so you're really doing yourself a favor to be patient and take little itsy bitsy ones and consult the lunar chart
once a month.
What you want to do. It just makes sense. But I think people have gotten a little, I don't know what it is, gotten carried away, and this explains it sensibly.
And the hair grows about an average of 4 to 6 inches a year. 4 to 6 inches a year. During the lunar cycle, if you cut your hair during these dates, you will double that. It'll grow between 6 to 12 inches a year.
Wow.
Yeah, because every time you do a lunar snipping, it's like about 8 to 18 acupuncture treatments.
The benefits, the benefits of helping your system.
Of the rejuvenation, getting that kind of energy going through the cycle, getting the hair to actually empower itself,
Right.
and getting it to grow faster, thicker, stronger. So there's not a lot of information on this, so that's why I'm doing a video to give you a brief. And also one thing that happens in the salon, I would say 99.99%. When you go into a salon to the hairdresser, you're going to start gossiping and talking about stuff, and the hairdresser is just going to be, yes, cutting away, and yes, and she's not going to want to stop the conversation because you haven't finished how to make this apple pie, and she'll just keep cutting.
Yeah.
Or she wants to talk about Jane's situation that's going on down the street. And that's the problem, is when I had hair clients, they were not allowed to speak politics, religion, philosophy. They were not allowed during the hair shaping. And normally we just did meditations. So it was pretty silent. And if we did get into conversations, they had to be completely controlled. So I didn't get carried away and cut more hair than we wanted to cut.
You're right. You got to be mindful and
Focused.
pay attention to what's going on, because this is your welfare, your health, your how you look, which is an important part of your self-esteem. I think that's a very good point. We're just so multitasking. We just get so diverted in our attention. That, focus on the thing at hand. Yeah, it's a good reminder for me too.
Yes, if you're going to go to a salon and you're going to have your hairdresser cut your hair, I'm not saying not to. I'm just advising you and suggesting that you do it yourself. It's so simple on longer hair. But if you do, just make an agreement with the hairdresser that you're going to come in. It's like an hour. I doubt it, but an hour. And you say, we're going to meditate and not talk during this hour when I'm getting my hair shaped. You'll find that it'll be very awkward unless you're really into a Zen salon. But you really have to be focused, and you have to really be in your power and say to the hairdresser, I really would appreciate if we could all focus on just this hair shaping and not even talk, not get sidetracked. And just, I won't even want this much hair taken off and no more. And you get an agreement with the hairdresser to do that. So after the hour, you can go out to tea or have coffee with her later on, or him, and blab all you want. But don't destroy your hair and say, oh my God, they cut off 12, 18 inches. Yeah, because you're carried away, you're not focused.
I'll bet some beauty operators, whom I'll call artists, I'll bet they would be relieved not to have to keep up the gab and just to concentrate on getting a cut right and taking pride in their workwomanship.
I did.
I think that they might find that a refreshing change. Someone who doesn't want to be gab, 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 gab. They want to focus on something that's important to them.
I'm glad you brought this up.
I should think that
when I worked at Kenneth's,
yes.
When I worked at Kenneth's, we had the most famous hairdressers in the world there. We had Mary Farr, we had Angela, we had Paris, a number of them besides Kenneth, and no one talked. When you went into Kenneth's salon, into his private section of Kenneth's salon, when he was cutting, no one talked. When you went into Mary Farr or Angela's or Paris's, they were not talking. They were, like you said, these are artists, like Michelangelo, like Leonardo da Vinci, and they were, creating this artistic form, shaping. I never heard gossip going on in the hair sectioning, in the hair cutting departments, ever. Later on, before what's going on, afterwards what's happened, but during, no, it was very quiet. And myself, when I was in Laguna for 23 years, in that studio, cutting, we meditated before the cut, we had a tea ceremony, I shaped the hair, and we blabbed afterwards. And if anyone, I'm telling you, anyone, I don't care who they were, if they started a negative conversation like, oh my God, this happened, or oh my God, this happened, or have you heard about this in politics? Have you heard about this horrible thing? I would take the cape off and ask them to leave. I would. I said, this is not allowed. So you both have to be focused. The hairdresser and the client both have to agree that you're coming in to get a hair shaping. If you want to blah, blah, then you need to go to a bar or go to a tea party or go to a place to have coffee and catch up on what you need to catch up on, but not during the sacred hair shaping time. And that's why the lunar cycle is so important. So I have to be very critical, and I'm trying to give you the best advice I can, which I am. So just do that very simple with wet hair, snip off the ends yourself, cut off very, very little. And then after 72 hours, just brush your hair, and I guarantee you will be so happy.